wish a motherfucker would.
It got real live there for a second. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Challenge Fandom Podcast. My name's Ricky Hayes. This is my beautiful wife, Corrina Hayes. We've got Alexis, Piss in the Field Rawson.
That's me.
Katie Bad
Wait, I just did it. That's her.
There you go.
I got it. See?
Yeah.
And then Tony, Stats, and Info Lance. All right, guys. Well, we're going to break down the challenge. But before we do that, Tony, you had something you want to dive into real quick.
Yeah, so much like the Walk for Alzheimer's, I'm doing Movember this year. As you can see, I still have a beard because I don't want to terrify my children. They've actually not seen me without a beard. But there's an option to walk or cycle a certain distance. So I've pledged to do 250 kilometers, which is like 155 miles, I think.
Wow.
It's a lot.
So, yeah. So my dad has prostate cancer and is going through radiation treatment right now. So where that's one of the things that's fundraised through Movember, I figured that I would do that. And if I was smart, I would have done it that I did like 10 kilometers for every day that he had to do radiation, but I didn't. And I set an insurmountable goal for myself of 250 kilometers. So we'll see how that pans out.
Get it.
Yeah.
Get it,
so if you're interested in donating, there is a link somewhere in the description.
Yep. It'll be down in the description.
I don't know why I had to do that. You guys know where the description is.
I'll do it down
down
there.
here.
Yeah.
Down there.
It's down there.
Oh, look, I'm going to reach
down
over and
there.
touch Tony. Oh, no. There goes my arm. Camera tricks.
So when somebody says something
Insert
stupid,
it.
are we just supposed to start slapping people now?
Yeah.
He's stupid.
That's why you guys come here, for the just absolute integral journalism we bring to podcasting.
Yep.
Facts.
We're so
Oh my
smart.
God.
Instead of looking at the camera, we'll just have to start looking like this.
Yeah.
Oh, you?
We're so myopic.
Gosh, Tony.
It's like the Brady Bunch.
Right? Yeah, where they're like,
I feel old because I got that reference right away.
I loved the Brady Bunch. I'm the youngest one here.
Yeah.
True.
The movies were good. Let's be honest.
I
Yeah,
they
loved
were
it
really
all.
good.
I loved it all.
it was all good. It was all good.
God, I want to go back, but you know what?
Yeah.
Similar to Johnny Bananas, I can't travel back in time. But this is us.
Fucking hilarious.
Well done.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
I
We'll
mean,
get to
he
that.
still does say we're the best podcast. So
He does.
He does.
say that.
He already loves it.
I don't want to press it too much in case we get a cease and desist.
At least we'll get his attention then.
Right?
Oh.
My friend came in and he commented on one of her Instagram posts like 1 billion years ago. And I looked at her, I was like, I've been trying to get his attention so bad. How?
Yeah.
How? You didn't
How?
even try.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just ignoring me.
Rude.
Because he knows you podcast.
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
I just think everybody's busy and they prioritize things that are important. And if I was him, would some random podcast out of like Reno and Nova Scotia and Indiana and upstate New York really matter? Not really.
Not really.
He also probably just subconsciously knows that I have weird toes. You know, like people with weird toes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you would think that the squirrel connection would like
I
cancel
know.
that out, though,
Yeah,
you know?
but
Somebody's going to get this when I say that reminds me of the movie Boomerang. And if you know, you know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyways,
I'm sorry, I failed you there.
it's okay. Someone out there is going to write in and say, I get it.
I'll
true.
Google it when we're done.
I'll let you know who does it. I have a few ideas of who it would probably will be.
Yeah.
I didn't Google the last thing I thought I needed to Google, though. I still don't want to know.
Anyways, real quick before we get into the
You
episode.
don't want to know. I promise.
I don't even remember what you were going to Google, and I already know that you don't want to know.
No. It's never the answer. You never
Don't.
want to GTS that shit.
Don't GTS that.
I don't know where I was going to go anyways.
Don't know.
Well, probably something to do with the challenge. Maybe
got
not. Nope, he got it. It came
I
back.
got it.
Sorry, I'll stop talking now. Do you want to say something? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gone outside. You did this. It's your fault. I just wanted to be like you. I wanted to feel like I was there.
You created this monster.
I forgot what we were all like in Detroit. Never mind.
On vacation.
Yeah, the only thing that was missing was Tony.
I live here now.
Popping in the comments with me. I just sat there and listened most of the time. Anyways, what I was going to say is we all dressed up last week, right? Like you went as casual me and I went as professional me. I realized professional me looks just like our artwork. It's the same picture.
Yeah.
So you were actually just your cartoon self.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very funny. Okay.
Okay. Anyways, cut all that. Let's go. Season 40, episode 12. No, I actually like this one. It's called The Era of the Purge. And you know what? I'm not mad about this title at all.
Not mad. I mean, it's dumb, but it's not the worst one they've done this season.
Mhm.
It's corny, but it ain't bad.
They
That's all I'm gonna say.
almost have to be corny though at this point because they've all been so corny that there's no way that they could have done anything like cool at this point.
No, and it has to keep with the era in the title apparently. So
Yeah, apparently we can't
I don't
falter from that. I will say that I accidentally, and I truly do mean accidentally, saw the title for next week's episode, and it's really bad.
Oh no!
Oh.
Yeah.
I
I
saw
kind
it.
of want to know it so I can
Do you want
guess.
me to? So you want me to tell
So,
you it?
real quick before
I
you
want
do
to
it,
know.
you wonder how I forget things so fast? We saw that together at the same time 2 hours ago. I have no clue what it says. Gone.
Don't smoke weed, kids. Don't do drugs.
No.
Next week's episode 13. The title of the episode is Best Friends, and then the number 4 era. Like
Classic.
forever. You know how we used to write that?
I'm
when we
actually
were
not
forever.
mad
I
about
kinda
that.
like it.
I like that one better than some of the other ones we've had.
Actually,
I like
it's
it.
probably the best one all season. I'm going to be honest.
I thought it was going to be Get Rich or Die Trying.
We're still waiting on that one. It's got to be coming
It does have to be coming.
in the era of getting rich or dying trying.
I do have a question about the opening scene here. So obviously we open up with the the little photo thing that Rick loves, and it is the underdog bloodbath Purge from Invasion of the Champions, where TJ first of all, this was probably one of the most fucked up things that they've ever done to these people, because they set them up this massive house party, tons of alcohol, DJ, the whole works, and get them wasted, and then fucking show up and they're like, hey, by the way, we gotta go. You guys need to get your shit, pack all your bags. We're doing a purge. And a bunch of you are going home. Like, what? So, but my thing is I didn't really, I didn't understand why they chose this specific scene. I got the reference to the Purge, but I didn't understand why this specific scene.
I think it was just the Purge, in all
Okay.
honesty.
Was that the first mini final?
It wasn't a mini final though.
It was the Purge.
That was that.
The underdogs.
Yeah, that was it. This wasn't that little thing where they had. This was the one. Wasn't this the one where it was just the elimination, where they had the 3-way elimination thing?
Oh yeah,
I
no, you're
think
right.
so.
You're right. Yeah,
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was that little
Stats and info?
I believe.
the underdog bloodbath. So I don't know if this was the one. I don't know.
it wasn't curry up, so I can't say anything.
I don't know, but it just felt like not even a weird pick, but I was just like, why that Purge? You know, why wouldn't they have picked like one from, you know, one of the seasons where we like the people on this season, you know, or something. I don't know. But anyway, it was just something I noticed. Yeah. Yeah.
CT was there. Amanda was there briefly.
That's true.
I forget about that.
I try to forget about that.
So how'd you guys feel about Michele saying that she didn't feel right putting Josh up as a target?
Honestly, like at first I was like, what the fuck, Michele? But then at the same time, I was like, I see where she's coming from, because then she would kind of just be doing what she was bitching at Josh for doing, which is like kind of being disloyal to the group of people that they said they'd work with. So I get it, as much as like, you know, everybody wants to get their Venegancy. I
Well played.
I also understand why, you know, she would also, and again, this is one of those things that we discussed last week with Alex, where we said, that as much as, Michele takes a lot of heat for this, for like purely just for coming from Survivor, that Michele is going to be one of the people that breaks the stereotype of Survivor players being snaky. And I think this is one of those moves that showed that, because she had every opportunity. And she could have, she could have totally explained it away with, what Josh has been doing this season, et cetera, but she didn't. And she stayed true. So I don't know. At first I was like, why the fuck wouldn't you have nominated Josh? But now that I think about it, I'm like, I actually can't blame her.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I kind of like about how they're doing things is they're still foreshadowing, but they're throwing false narratives out there to kind of throw us off that. Like, the whole Aviv's foot injury, I was like, she is done.
Plantar fasciitis.
It's no joke, son.
Like
no joke.
No joke, son.
There's real doctors and medicine and everything.
Plantar
You
fasciitis.
are not paralyzed.
I told Sam, I was like, that sounds like something you would tell your boss to get out of going to work for UPS that day. I'm
Sounds
sorry,
right.
my plantar fasciitis is acting up.
Have him put that in his pocket for a rainy day.
Yeah.
No, it definitely did, like, totally. I thought that was it. I was like, Aviv is 100% either she's getting purged or she's going to be last place and she's going to get the penalty and she's going to end up losing next week and, going into elimination, whatever. But yeah, I get it. And I kind of like these little false narratives, false leads.
Little clues,
Although,
little breadcrumbs.
Little Easter eggs.
Tony noticed something.
Yeah.
Tony sure did.
I totally missed it. Oh my God.
I missed it. I still haven't even noticed it.
So if you look, and it wasn't even part of the main episode, it was on the previously on, so it was kind of buried too, because I knew that I saw it the first time we watched it, and then I was half an hour into my rewatch, and I was like, it had to be in the previously on. So in the previously on, when Bananas is talking about Bananas Angels, and it does the shot of his angels, it's actually just Rachel and Aviv and Jenny. Laurel's not there. Like, it's the exact same image, but Laurel is not in it anymore. And he even, like, every time that he references the angels, still, he's including Laurel, but on that card, she wasn't there.
Right.
And it's like a triple entendre. Is that what it is? Where
Corrina
because of
will
that,
enter it over. Hold on, right here.
Because
right here for you to see.
because it also foreshadows like what happens later in the episode. But it foreshadows what Bananas found out watching the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So just
We'll get into all that.
slide that one in there.
Yeah, no, that's it actually like really interesting. And I think probably exactly what you said. Somebody in the editing department probably got in a lot of trouble for this one, because it seems like they took an image or, a card designed for the end of the episode and accidentally dropped it in the very beginning of the fucking episode before the actual episode even starts. They tell you who fucking goes out in the purge. So, wow.
We're just bringing it back to
man.
Era 1, okay? They're sad that Era 1's not there anymore, so they're like, here's a little nod to them. This is what we did with our titles back in the day, so here you go.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, anyway, that threw me off when I saw that in chat a little bit ago. I was like, wow.
That's how I keep my stats and info at.
I love it. One thing that I do want to talk about is what Cara talks about right here is where she's not feeling as confident because of the competition and level that she's around. And I think maybe it comes with age or just kind of realizing it, that like I was like, I used to think, I have imposter syndrome and all this. And I do, but so does everybody. Like literally everybody goes through that shit. And when you're around people that are really good, then you really get imposter syndrome. And no matter how good you really are. And I think it just really does point to the level of play that we're getting from some of these people, because moves we see from Rachel and Tori and everybody else throughout the game, It shows how well they're playing this game.
And even people who are only a couple seasons in, like even Olivia, for example, when they were having that conversation at the very beginning and it was just Kylan and Michele and Olivia, and Michele said, like, we obviously pissed a lot of people off. And Olivia said, it doesn't matter if you piss off people who are already going to say your name. And that's sort of like an era for idea of mindset, because you're not trying to make nice with everyone. It's if this person's already going to say your name, then fuck them.
They're going to say your name. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, and I really liked this this confessional from Cara, and I felt like this was a very real moment that we got with Cara.
Yeah.
And I really loved it. Honestly, I feel like having the ability to look at yourself and say, like, and just be able to assess yourself, you know, is a sign of like growth, you know. And I've seen so much growth in Cara this season that it's like completely turned me 180 on her again, you know. And I go through this every few seasons with her. She'll have like a season where I just don't like her, and then it takes a couple seasons for me to kind of get back going, you know. But this one, man, like she's just and I think she was talking to Rachel about it a few episodes ago, where she had said something like, you know, not constantly like being the target and constantly being attacked has allowed her to kind of relax and be herself a little bit more, and not just constantly like on defense. And I love this Cara, you know, and I love that she was able to say, hey, look, like I might not be the best one here. Like I have some decent competition here. And it was just really nice for her to give those girls their flowers, you know? So I love this moment, honestly.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? It's just really nice and refreshing that it hasn't been the Cara Laurel storyline. And I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was afraid of that.
But like I was saying earlier, how well the games have been played. Rachel's a key example of this, because now she's reaching out to like one of the other top male competitors now on the season.
Jesus.
With Kylan. And it's just like she is set up every way.
I think that's called playing both sides, Rick.
Yeah. No, she is. And look, here's my...
She's Banana's angel. She doesn't do that.
I would be very interested to see a situation where Rachel wins at all at this point. I see the value in all the moves that she's making and the people that she's talking to, but it's almost kind of getting too far now, where I'm like, now you're kind of moving into Josh style gameplay territory, and you're going to be in a really bad fucking position if you end up having to choose, you know. And now you've got 3 like of the top men, you know, saying that like they've got your back or whatever. Obviously being Bananas, Jordan, Kylan.
5.
What?
She's got 5.
She also talked to Corey.
I'm saying she's got like the top 3.
Yeah.
Like those are the top 3 performers this season, and all 3 of them are on her side. I'm not saying that's all she has.
Yeah.
It's also just a lot of guys to have her back and not talk to each other.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? And so I see the potential holes in her gameplay right now, but she's doing it very smooth and very quiet. So, you know, at this point, I think that she's really got to watch out for winning dailies, because if she has to make decisions publicly, that's going to cause some problems, you know, especially because we're still a little ways out from the final. And then if they talk to each other, you know, but she is playing smart and she is playing very smooth. And it's been really interesting to watch. Like I said, especially because she's been gone so long.
I will give you that. If she wins, it puts her game in jeopardy, because then she has to make the decision.
Right.
But if she can make sure she places 2nd or 3rd in every daily, she's in the perfect position for no one to ever find out until they get to the final couple, where, you know,
that or
someone's going to go in your alliance no matter what.
That, or if she ends up going into an elimination, she has to make targets. That's going to lay her game right out too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so like, that's kind of my thing. And I think this is kind of what I was trying to get at with the Tori thing. What was that I think it was last episode. What is that? Tori's game is very out in the open. People know exactly who her top 4 are. She doesn't have to say it. Like people know because it's the same people she's always fucking worked for, or not for, but like worked with. And you know, nowhere do I think that people like Derek or Nehemiah or Corey would think that they're suddenly in her top 4 after one conversation. But I don't know if I could say the same thing about Rachel, you know, like I wonder, and obviously we're not seeing these full conversations, but it makes me wonder where like Kylan thinks he places in comparison to Corey, to Jordan, etc. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be really interesting to watch how she tweaks and works the last, you know, third of this game that we still have to play.
Who's your top 5? Who's your number 5?
Who's your number 5 right now?
Although she was really careful to say, like, you know, we'll see how things pan out in the next few, like, dailies. So
she said, we'll have a conversation again.
So I don't think she was like, I feel like she was just testing the waters to see, like, all right, if my guys go home, are you going to have my back now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She was definitely looking to replace whoever she may have lost, you know. But I also just found it funny. And I was like, this is just like the most like Kylan thing to do, is to make a plan to sit down and talk about having an alliance, like making that plan like a week ahead of time. Like, yeah, let's for sure. After a couple people go home, you know, just like
Kylan the calculator.
And the more I think about it, like the Rachel Tori thing, I think the rules still apply to Tori though. Like, because if Bananas goes out, then she has to make decisions.
Oh no, it applies to her too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I don't think it will be as much of a shock to people because people know where they stand with Tori.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like I said, I don't think that for 1 second Corey would ever think that he would come above Jordan.
Tori. No one does.
You know what I mean? But you know, and neither would Kylan. But does Kylan feel like, how does that work with, like, I just don't think it would be as shocking.
I think it's shocking.
It's going to be as shocking to Josh. Josh will be the interesting one. Josh will be really interesting again because he's, you know, friends with it. He's friends with everybody. Everybody loves Josh.
He's a victim of his own success.
Guys, so you brought up Tori. Can we talk about Tori and Jordan's conversation?
Yes.
It just made my heart so happy because they were both just, you could see the friendship again for real. And it just made my heart so happy. And
I do love it.
It was so good.
We are going to talk about more when we get to it because there's a lot of discussion as far as what they're talking about with the graphic and Mount Rushmore and all that I'm going to want to discuss.
Okay.
So we definitely will. But I do want to get into the daily because I feel like that's the bulk of this episode.
Doomed.
They doomed the fucking title.
I was like, you guys couldn't come up with anything better than just doomed.
I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. It was so stupid and punny.
You know, like Dunes of Doom, or I don't know, something. Just Doomed.
I like the Doom.
I like the daily. I liked the mini final. I wasn't a fan of the name. I was like, this is dumb.
Honestly, with the mini final, there was not one thing I was like, oh, this sucks. No. This is dumb. Like, I liked it more than what they did on, what was it, the duel?
That's not true. That's not true.
Why are you calling me out in public?
She done pointing you out too.
Fuck.
So we're watching the episode, okay? POV, watching the episode. Sorry, I'm trying to get trendy. I don't know. Isn't that what people do?
Trying to talk to the, like, Gen Zers, okay?
Isn't that like point of view? Like, this is what we're doing?
IRL.
Picture this.
Do I not have any? I got no Riz? Is that what the problem is?
Previously on.
Wait. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Did anybody notice Olivia's shirt?
No. Yes. What?
She literally.
What does it say?
Shirt. It said
something about toes.
You can't make fetch happen. No, it said something about being fetch. I had it somewhere.
Okay. I kept telling Rick, I was like, what does it say? I feel like it says something about toes. I don't know what it says.
Toes?
It's somewhere in my notes. Oh, it's because it's later in the episode. My bad.
I got hose.
I can't find it now, guys. I dropped the ball on that one.
What was I saying?
We were talking about Duned.
Yes,
but
sorry.
What was I saying?
I don't
You were
remember.
talking
I was gonna
about
tell you
the
guys
fact
something.
that Rick actually.
Oh, I was
said
going to tell
that
you
there was a
guys.
complaint.
Okay, yeah. What Rick's problem is with this mini final.
That's so fetch.
Why are they out there in this heat in fucking all black
Black.
Yeah.
outfits? I don't.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Black hats radiating heat.
Yeah, but that is literally the only thing he complained about the whole mini final. So I will give you that, but I had to point it out.
I saw someone say it was like 140 degrees out there. I was like, well, first of all, that would
Rachel
be
said that, yeah.
that would be the world record.
That's a little exaggerating.
Yeah. So I had to look it up, and it was 110 with humidity, which
Oh,
is wretched.
That's a lot.
Oh, so it probably did feel like 140.
It
That's a lot.
would. Yeah.
That's a lot.
do you think they get sunscreen?
I'm
I hope
sure.
so.
Yeah, I
Probably.
would hope so.
It looks like they didn't get enough water though by
Yeah.
Kyland once he finished.
If not, they have those sweet bucket hats.
They never have enough water out at these things.
Oh,
I'm actually curious though, because when TJ is introducing the mini final and he's telling everybody like, oh, blah, 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 says, today's like a staple in the challenge, we're having a mini final. And I've never really considered the mini final like a staple because they don't do one every single
Every
season. To me, it's not like trivia where you know that it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen,
Right.
you're like, what the fuck? This is
Yeah.
weird. What happened? And I love the mini final and I wish it would be a staple, but that's a very new thing that they've done. And even since they started doing them, it's not like consistent every season. So I was curious, do you guys consider the mini final like a staple of every season of the challenge?
I consider it a mainstay, not a staple.
I
That's
like
fair.
that.
I mean, I'm not going to. It's not, but I wish it was.
Yeah,
Maybe this is saying it is now.
maybe.
It's season 40, so let's build everything up. That was the closest
Yeah,
finish in challenge history.
History. Yeah, I get that. Okay. Yeah.
That's just how I view it, but nonetheless, I mean, I commend them for the production value.
So my only gripe with the daily is the fact that Theo, and I understand this is generally how we do it with the challenge when there is a penalty, but Theo standing there for 2 minutes is not as interesting or dynamic as Theo doing the whole thing and getting 2 minutes added on to his time at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a better way to handle it.
Because he just caught up with everyone digging and then
Mm-hmm.
carried on. Whereas doing it the other way, you can, when he's that close to being out, to being that last person, if he didn't wait the 2 minutes to begin with, Nehemiah theoretically could have finished and gotten within 2 minutes of him,
Oh, yeah.
and Theo would have been out.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
I don't know. I don't math, and that sounds like a lot of math.
Well, then you would have had like more anticipation, wondering like if somebody got there in time minus the 2 minutes or plus the 2 minutes.
Yeah, so like as it stands right now, as soon as Theo's with everyone else that the 2 minutes doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Whereas if you put it on at the end to his final time, the whole time you're thinking he has to beat whoever by at least 2 minutes in order for him to stay in the game.
It just builds up the drama.
Yeah.
It builds the drama, definitely. I did like the interaction that Cara and TJ had in this, where she's like,
Oh.
it's a double elimination. It's a
Uh-huh.
double elimination.
Elimination day.
But then somebody else yelled something.
Somebody else said it was a triple.
I mean, technically, it is a double elimination day, TJ, because we got a purge and an elimination. So 2 sets of people went home. So a double.
2
just
people
saying.
eliminated, 1 person quit. That's still a double elimination.
It still counts, in my opinion. No, I'm just kidding.
It does. I'm
But-
here and I'll count it.
No, I really liked this mini final. I thought it was a really good mixture of a little bit of everything. Some strategy, obviously endurance. Digging through those freaking all that sand, looking for those keys. That's not fun. That's not easy.
No. The way it was all filling in too.
Yeah.
I would have got so mad.
The paddle boarding, so I felt like there was a little bit of everything in here. And I really liked it. And I felt like it gave us a good sense of where people are and what they're comfortable with in this game. And there were some things that were a little bit shocking, in my opinion.
Did you guys catch when they got to the digging portion and Bananas throwing sand on Michele?
Yes.
Yeah. Johnny.
Did anybody believe that was an accident?
No. I even have that in my notes. Not an accident.
No. And Rick said it, and I was like, dude, that's totally what I would have done because I'm just such a fucking petty bitch. Is he was like, dude, the second that Bananas did that to me, I'd have just stood up, turned around and bent over and just started doing the fucking thing just right into his face. Fuck you, bro. Like,
could have been funny.
Michele is so nice. Like,
and it did look like there was a rope attached to it as well. Because when Cara was digging, they had like a close up on her when she was talking about the pit of despair or whatever. And when she was scooping out with whatever tile she had, there was very clearly like a string attached to it that went down into the sand. So my guess is that, yes, they had to dig, but they had to follow the rope down.
The rope down.
Which is still a pain in the ass. But it makes a little bit more sense because I was like, this is next to impossible. But everybody was perfectly spaced out rather than just having there's X number of keys in this area.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they've done stuff like that before where they've just literally just like a little tiny fucking key and they just bury it in the sand. Good luck finding it. Like, what the fuck?
So I have a question for you guys. Do you think that this mini final is a good predictor of what we might see in the actual final as far as how they finish? Or like the tough competitors?
I think there's some things that happened in the mini final that are foreshadowing for how some people may perform in the actual final. I don't necessarily know like placement wise, but I mean like Jenny, where she was having issues with endurance big time, and she had her inhaler on her
for a long time.
And memory.
But allegedly, she had her vape there. I'm like, girl, please put down the fucking vape. I love you so much. Please stop.
She did have her inhaler.
Go talk to Naya.
Yeah.
Okay,
I hope she was lectured.
Go spend some time. Yeah, go talk to Naya for about an hour. Okay, and then please put that fucking thing down. And I know I'm guilty too. I know
we're
that
all vaping together, but
I'm just saying, like with what you do, especially with what you do, girl, you ain't making it to that final like that.
Well, especially looking at her last performance.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
It just sucks because like we've all been like waiting and anticipating and begging for her return, and so I'm just like, I just want her to do good in the final, even if she doesn't win, I just want her to do good in the final. So I'm like, please just put it down.
I'm just not even sure she's making final.
You don't think so?
I
keeps
feel
like she's an easy name to say.
I feel like, but I
her
feel
name's
like
been said a lot.
But I feel like she'd be an easy one to take to the final to beat because people see how she performs. So why would Tori want to run against Rachel over Jenny?
I would rather take Michele or Olivia.
Well, duh, but she's going to. But I'm just saying, like, if you have a chance to take a shot at somebody, you know what I mean?
Jenny still got third, though. So,
yeah.
I mean, she was still gassing out, but she still got third.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, also, I don't know if I would pick Jenny over Tori in certain eliminations. I think there are people that can definitely beat Jenny in an elimination.
Oh, yeah.
But I think this isn't a good sign for, especially if they're running the final in Vietnam. Not a good fucking sign at all.
Did you hear how deep it was? Like, I was almost scared for her. I was like, like, are you okay? Breathe, please.
How did you feel about them timing out in stage one, letting them time out? Or do you think they should have let them dig?
I liked it.
I mean, to move it along, I appreciate the timeout. But in reality, Josh was still paddling at the 17-minute mark, and they timed out at the 30-minute mark. So they all timed out and were allowed to go forward less than 15 minutes after one of the people in kind of the middle left. So he wasn't even like the last one to leave before they timed out.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just never been a big fan of the timeouts myself.
Oh,
Me either, but I know if I was in that situation, I would be waiting for that timeout.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think if they're going to do a timeout, then it needs to be a longer period of time so that the people who did it and accomplished it are far enough ahead. Because really, like, when Derek got there to the memory piece, everybody was still there.
Mhm.
So it's kind of the same as Theo, where when he got to the digging, everyone was still there. So it negated the fact that they timed out, kind of thing. Like, they weren't really penalized for it. They were sort of pushed forward. So I think if they're going to time out, then it needs to be more of a penalization than it is just, we need to get this going.
And for something harder, like the digging really wasn't that hard. Why would you time out at the digging? Especially if there was a string that showed you where to go.
Right.
So I've heard in like some conversations on the internet, and like I have no way to substantiate this, that in some cases the string broke.
Oh,
And
that's interesting.
like, that's pure speculate. Like
Not
I have
surprised.
nothing to base it off of other than I've read it somewhere that somebody said it. But if that's the case, you'd be fucked. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
to find it with everybody else is finding it with the string attached, and then you're just kind of winging it.
that would make sense.
So maybe that happened like during the round. They were like, okay, we're going to time
I'm just
out.
going to wait here until I time out because
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, maybe I could. All right.
But I agree with what you're saying, Corrina. Like the timing out kind of negates the fact that it's a timed event.
I just feel like if you're going to do a timeout, you do it on the puzzle and you set it at like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like this puzzle, though. I like that they're incorporating,
The
knowing the
miso
scene.
soups bowls.
What?
The
They
miso soup
double.
bowls
Oh,
they
yeah.
covered it in.
I like
They
that they're
basically
they're just incorporating like knowing the seasons and stuff like that. They're incorporating that challenge history into this, historic season of the
Mhm.
And they
challenge.
were like,
So
hey, do we still have the boats from the elimination at the beginning?
Let's
Yep,
reuse
flip 'em
that.
over.
We spent too much on those steel crates
Yeah.
last week.
so
when they,
I really liked that part. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No. I thought it was really cool. I wanted to say, it's Bananas gets to the puzzle first, correct?
Bananas gets to the puzzle first, but he doesn't remember.
He dropped the ball.
So here's
Yeah,
my
he did.
question about this puzzle and maybe I just wasn't paying attention when they like read the instructions or whatever, but so what do they have to do? Like match it up with the season number that it is? Or
No.
I don't
No.
understand.
No.
I think just the number that it was under, like each of the miso soup bowls had a number,
Okay.
and it was
On
like
one
a
end.
Like Roman numerals here where
So-
you can't count. I just don't understand.
There were two
What?
rows. There were two rows, and one of them was alphabetical, and it had miso soup bowls that you had to lift up and find the season underneath. And then the other one was numerical.
Okay.
And then if you looked at the grid that they had in front of them, one set had the numbers above it, and one set had the letters above it. And then you had to put down those little cards to match up the order that was out there.
Weird. Okay.
So
Anyway.
It was convoluted.
yeah.
it was, but it was, but it was an equalizer. Like
Mhm.
Very much
Bananas
so.
came in first and fucking was one of the left, what, 5th or 6th place he finished as the man?
I think
Yes.
Worth noting.
Actually, I'm not sure what place he finished. I only took down first and second for men and female.
He placed behind Corey Wharton in a puzzle.
He was.
Yeah, puzzle
King.
Like, that's
Fucking
a fucking
Corey.
joke.
but guys, fucking Kyland. Like, I'm
Dude.
sorry, every single person who commented on the Instagram post last
Yeah.
week that was like, no, I don't see it. You still don't see it because he beat fucking Jordan and Bananas and everybody else.
Their problem is that, well, two things that I saw happening on that post, on that discussion last week about whether or not Kyland would be the new, like, male face of the challenge going forward. And by new, we just mean like the newer, like
Yes.
not one of the OG players. Number one issue that I saw is that for some reason, some of the fandom thinks like when you say like the face of that means Mount Rushmore. And I'm like,
No.
no, that's
No.
not.
Like Nerys, how they use Nerys for 39. And
Really quick, for anyone who doesn't understand, when we say like the face, we mean like the person who is like being consistently cast on every season, has leading storylines, is always on the cover art of the season. Like they're literally like they're using their face.
The figurehead.
The literal
their
face.
actual face.
Their literal actual face. Is representing the show. That's more what we meant. And then the other thing that I saw was a lot of people were going on the he doesn't have a personality thing.
Yeah, he does.
Which is weird to me because he does.
How many hours did we sit with him?
Yeah.
A lot.
Like, I think that the problem is that everybody, like people who watch reality TV, like if you don't go on there and like blow up and have fights and get drunk and cause problems, you don't have a personality. And I'm like, guys, like being chaos and being drunk and being a douchebag are not personality traits. Okay.
Yeah, but also I feel like he's already been there, done that. Now he's changed into a different person. So
Yeah, one man wrecking crew.
He's killing it.
that stuff didn't work for him.
Yeah. And I think it's really just at the end of the day, people that come from Big Brother play the game a little bit differently.
Mhm.
And, you know, I've seen what people have said online. And I think it's just the fact that, like, on Big Brother, they're always being filmed. And so they know if they want to catch it on camera, they have to kind of set it up.
Yeah.
And they do the same. And so they kind of carry that over into the challenge. And it's just something that they do.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons that people are so against saying that Kylan is like the face of the challenge, like the new face, as in ushering in a new era, new figurehead, is because everybody has this firmly entrenched concept of if we agree that this person is the face of the challenge now, then that's saying that none of the OGs are the face anymore. And that's not what we're saying. We're just simply saying that based on the new people that are playing now, the one to watch and the one that we will probably be seeing more of is Kylan.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly. And that's, I mean, I got into a discussion with someone about this, but it was on the women's side. And I was like, look, you can feel how you want about the past, but right now, Tori is the face of the challenge.
Yeah,
totally.
She's been cast more than any other woman since season 30 moving forward, including spinoffs, been to more finals. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyways, getting back to this mini final, one thing that kind of threw me off is that it's a mini final, but it only took the winner an hour to get done.
Oh,
yeah.
Especially in that heat.
Yeah.
But to be fair, mini final, I mean, it usually isn't like an all day thing.
Yeah.
And the middle of the pack, the majority of the people finished about an hour and a half to hour 45. You know, so I mean, I get it. It's, you know, it's supposed to be like a really condensed version of the final, you know.
I almost wish they would do the mini final like they did for USA 1, where it was at night and it was in those warehouses with all those different puzzle games and you won different tokens, but there was so much running back and forth for it.
They should have, because then it wouldn't be so damn hot. I was going to say, do you think there's ever like a restriction on how long they can have them outside doing a challenge if there's like a temperature heat wave or...
If they're in America, probably, but they're in a different country, so...
Yeah.
It's a good point.
That's true.
Well,
they work outside in 110 every day, so...
Labor laws, all that, none of that should apply. I don't know, guys. I'm just assuming.
Guys, I have something, though, before we move on. I'm sorry, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Olivia, she was fourth.
Yeah, she
Of the
did good.
girls. Like, her shock when she won, I was like, yeah, what? Go. You go, Glen Coco.
You go, Glen Coco.
It goes with her shirt later.
She didn't clear her board either.
Yeah, she didn't. I noticed that. We got to give a shout out to Tori. She fucking killed it. She did it in an hour 18.
An hour and 18 minutes, dude.
The foreshadowing of that conversation she had with Jordan before they went into it, too. She's like, I'm going to win
tomorrow.
I'm going to win.
Yep.
Well,
and she did.
And that's why I wanted to kind of wait to talk about this and bring that back up, because she talks about with Jordan winning another one. And Jordan's like, I want to win this next one. So I'm right.
I want to win my fifth one.
So it's just me and CT and bananas. You know what I mean? And like, I wanted to bring up the discussion. If that happens, is he the GOAT?
If Jordan gets a fifth win, I mean, it's hard to argue because he's done what?
10 seasons?
9 seasons, 10 seasons total.
Yeah.
Damn.
5 wins, 50% win ratio.
Hold on.
mean-
I got to know now. I got to know the exact stats.
Yeah.
I gotta put a pin in part of this conversation, but I'm gonna save it for later. But it goes with my MVP. Just saying.
I want to say there's only been one final he's been to that he didn't win. And there's only been 3 seasons he's played that he didn't go to the final.
I'm about to look right now.
Okay.
I've got it.
A few moments later.
9, 10 seasons if you include All-Stars and World Champions.
Right, which I was.
And so out of 10 seasons, he's won 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finals. 6 finals. 6 finals. So he's...
So 6 finals. So if he made this final, it would make 10 seasons. Is that 10 seasons counting this one?
Including
Okay,
this
so
one,
that would make 10 seasons, 7 finals, 5 wins. If that happens,
he's the GOAT.
is Jordan the greatest of all time?
Yes.
I would say.
He's got to be.
I don't have an argument against it.
I don't know how you argue it, and I know that like the major banana stands are gonna, 7 wins or 9 wins if you count as champs versus stars and pros, which I don't count those ones. Just because I feel like, we've been over this. Those seasons are a little different than everything else. But I just don't know how you argue Jordan at that point, Follow-up question to that we actually got submitted on our Instagram question thing. Obviously, we know with this mini final, Laurel is in last place. And according to Olivia, she just kind of gave up at one point and just was like waiting to be in last place and get purged. And so everybody's calling this quitting, of course. And people are saying that Laurel should be removed from the Mount Rushmore discussion. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Does her kind of quitting this mini final, does that constitute removing her from the discussion of Mount Rushmore?
You want to go first, Tony, or you want me to go first?
Go for it.
All right, I'll take the hate on this. No. Look, I'm going to be honest. She didn't quit because, first of all, she didn't look at TJ and say, I quit.
So
she
because
looked at
TJ wasn't there.
It doesn't matter. That's what quitting
I wish
is.
I would have seen TJ hear her quit, though.
Yeah, that would have been different, but that didn't happen. She timed out on a purge. You know what I mean? Her and Nehemiah were in the same spot. So did he quit? You know what I mean?
No, because he was
He
still
trying.
doing it.
He was actively trying. That's
No,
Well,
the
she
thing.
was
I don't think
actively
that's how it happened.
She was actively quitting.
Because Nehemiah said that Laurel quit and he doesn't get down with that and he wasn't going to quit. So he kept going. And I think before he finished his puzzle, she decided, I'm done being tortured.
She was done because Michele beat her. She couldn't get down. She couldn't get down with Purple Jacket coming in ahead of her.
I don't argue the fact that she let her pride get ahead of her on this one because of that. But to me, quitting is completely different than like she just realized she was in last, so she's not going to catch up.
You're saying that she doesn't think that she could have beat Michele in a foot race?
Not from the lead Michele had.
What do you think about what Cara said then about her being out of shape and not being like, I think Cara basically, these are not her exact words. I did not write them down exactly, but she basically was saying Laurel knew she's out of shape and that after this, she wasn't going to make it in a real final. So she did give up.
Right.
I can't argue that.
Yeah.
I think that Cara said more along the lines of based on the competition that's left, Laurel didn't think that she could beat everyone there. And Laurel doesn't play for second place. If she can't win, then she doesn't want to do it.
Right.
And I think that if it was anyone else as like the bottom two, that she might have kept going. But I think with the like building story of Michele and Laurel and then having Michele come out on top in a puzzle, which Laurel thinks that she's smart. Not saying that Laurel isn't smart, but like Laurel, like she is smart. She is somebody who thinks that she is one of the smarter female competitors.
Right.
So to get beat by, in this case, somebody who she doesn't think is an equal competitor, I think that was a hit to the ego. And I think that she was already prepping for, I'm taking my ball and going home earlier on when there were still more people there. And as soon as Michele was done, she was done.
Right.
And sure, she can say that she was being tortured and everything else, but she quit. And Nehemiah kept going. Do I think that takes her out of the Rushmore conversation? No. Do I think that is a really big tarnish of her gameplay and the last couple of times that she's come out to play? Yes, I do. But I also maintain that in some ways, Bananas also quit when he was in the final against Devin and Tori. So that's like, he's still in the Mount Rushmore conversation. So he was actually at a final versus her, who's just like, nah, I'm out. This is too tough.
I feel like that was different though.
To me, it's the same exact thing. It's the same level of quitting. It's not quitting like Arissa quit. And that's what I'm talking about. When you say, and TJ gets on your ass about quitting, that's what I'm referring to as quitting on this. And that didn't happen. Was it like what Bananas did? I think 100%.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Tony. I don't think it takes her out of the GOAT conversation at all, just based on statistics alone.
No.
I think
but I do think they quit.
I think that, like you said, Tony, I think that it tarnishes her reputation and her stats for sure. I don't think it necessarily takes her out of the conversation for Mount Rushmore, because if we take Laurel out of the conversation for Mount Rushmore for quitting, we have to take every other person who has ever quit a daily or anything like that out of the conversation for Mount Rushmore.
Dailies.
And that's a lot of people. Like, I don't even want to sit here and run through the names, but it's a lot of people that majority of fans have in high regard. So it definitely made me feel differently about, how impressed I've been with Laurel lately. I was highly impressed with her on All Stars 4 as far as her performance. And now it makes me wonder if it didn't carry over, or if maybe there just wasn't that high of competition on that season like I thought there was. And that's not to take anything away from Laurel. But I just, I don't think that it takes her out of the conversation, but I definitely think that, like, when it comes to, when we get to those conversations of, oh, name your top 4 women on the Mount Rushmore. Oh, Emily, Evelyn, Ashley. And if like it comes between Laurel and Cara, like I'm going to lean more towards Cara these days. Whereas in the past, I've leaned a little bit more towards Laurel. So I think that's really it, but I don't think it necessarily removes her from the conversation.
It lessens my tolerance for her nonsense.
That's a fair way to put it.
Accurate.
My tolerance is done, so I'm glad that now we don't have to deal with it. But I also feel like when you're talking about Mount Rushmore, you're not just talking about one season. So she could have like the worst season of all time this season, but that doesn't negate everything she's built up before.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's to me, it goes, if there was like a 1A, 1B between, like, let's say Laurel and Evelyn, it's definitely a 2 now for her instead of a 1A, 1B discussion. Does it drop her to the bottom 4 or 5 spot? No. Because
I was just doing that for an example, by the way. But
no, I'm just saying, because at the end of the day, I like to play a game with how I think of these things, and it's not Laurel right now versus Emily right now. I like to think Laurel at her prime versus Emily in her prime, or CT in his prime versus Jordan in a prime final. Like, who wins that? And that's how I kind of like try to formulate the GOAT conversation, or who my top 4 are.
Right.
And it's a stupid game, but it's a fun one to play.
Yeah.
So, and Laurel's prime is still arguably better than anyone else's.
Yeah.
And that's just facts.
But yeah, I mean, the mini final was cool. We got Kylan in for what?
Rachel offering her a subscription to her fitness channel.
Yeah.
She was like, you can have a free membership on me.
So anyway, I just wanted to hop back to this because it is going to be my line of the night is when Tori is like, you know, unless Bananas has like a time machine he can hop back in and go back to War of the Worlds 2 and propose to me. Pretty sure he's going in. And so I fucking lost it.
Cold as ice. Cold as ice.
I lost it. That was absolutely fucking amazing. I loved it. Loved Rachel offering Laurel a subscription.
Oh, Nehemiah. There's no redemption house.
Yeah, in Nehemiah's redemption house. But the part that really got me is as soon as TJ like announces like, oh, you know, Tori, blah, blah, blah. And the you know, the two, you know, targets have to go in and plead your cases to her. And Banana's like, anyone know the way to the arena? Instantly, I was like, oh my God, I bet you Nehemiah is suffering from horrible deja vu right now from Rivals 1 when Evan threw the challenge and then in the water, he's like, does anyone know the way to the jungle? Is it this way? Does anyone know the way to the jungle? And I was just like, oh my God, Bananas. That was petty.
That's full circle for right now, though, because just, you know, me creeping on Instagram, Evan and Leroy and Bananas are all together right now.
Oh, how funny. That's hilarious. Yeah. What a coincidence. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I found that pretty funny, and I was just sitting there and I was like, God, I wonder if Nehemiah feels as uncomfortable right now as I think he does, because poor guy.
One other thing I wanted to touch on before we get it out of the daily was what Theo said when he crossed the line. And he's like, wow, those
2 minutes really fucked me.
Yeah. And then I saw someone on Instagram say, hey, if you wouldn't have gotten that penalty, do you think he would have done better? He's like, seeing that the other guy beat me by like 15 minutes? No. Fuck, dude.
He's so funny.
He really is.
God, I love him.
He is. Like, he's definitely like gone down on the physical performance part, but dude is still just as funny and entertaining as he always has been.
That's what happens when you're in love.
At the beginning of this episode, there was some foreshadowing where he was like, man, I really have been on vacation and I got to get this work back in.
Oh my God. One of our followers called it vacation, and I was like, that's so cute and so true. Adorable. They're like, Theo's been on vacation this whole time. I was like, yeah.
That's accurate.
That's accurate as fuck.
I always flash back to Theo just sitting in the hot tub by himself.
Yes.
That was great. That was so great.
Since we're just talking about Theo, that shot of him in the wig.
Oh my God.
The banana slayer.
Yes.
I can't. That whole scene right there, which I know we will get to, but oh my God.
He looked like Andre 3000 in Hey
He
Ya.
did.
He did. Yeah,
amazing.
we even made a meme about it.
It was worth it. It was really worth it. Or Snoop Dogg.
I found it interesting though, and I guess I shouldn't have been surprised as soon as he obviously explained it, but I found it interesting that Theo wanted to go against Jordan more than he wanted to go against Bananas.
Me too.
He wanted his Venegansi.
He really wanted that Venegansi.
He wanted that Venegansi. Poor guy, he did not get that Venegansi.
I don't think he would have.
You think I was thinking with this elimination, if we take
Jordan
Bananas out, put Jordan in. I think Jordan fucking smokes him.
Oh yeah,
even worse than Bananas. Like I think he loses by even more. To be honest,
I agree.
I think the only person that gives Jordan a run for their money is Derek in this.
Derek versus Jordan would be interesting in this.
Like this elimination should have been Ryan and Bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking while it was happening, was like Ryan would have done really well in this.
Ryan would have done really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're jumping way out in advance. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I actually wanted to jump back just one quick little step right before the whole wig thing. When Bananas is in the room with his angels and he's like he's kind of making a deal with them, right? And he's like, you know, I'll try to take out Tori if you guys try to take out Jordan. So Jenny makes her joke, right, about a nighttime drowning.
Yeah, just a casual night drowning.
Which was fucking hilarious, right? But what got me the most is after she says this, the camera pans over to Bananas and the look on his face was like he just realized that his best friend is a fucking psychopath. And he was just like,
don't say that. cameras.
So anyway, here's Wonderwall.
so I'm really glad we're friends. Like,
I fucking, as soon as the like pan happened, I looked over at Corrina. I was like, that got fucking dark real quick. That got dark.
I believe Sarah's response was, okay.
oh, right.
Yeah.
She's really upset about being targeted all season.
I have such a morbid sense of humor that I say shit like that too. So Jenny, I got you, sis. I get it.
She let those intrusive thoughts win, and I'm okay with it.
Totally fine with it. I thought it was fucking hilarious. But yeah, Banana's face sent me, dude. Absolutely sent me. I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, she's psycho. Okay. Good thing we're friends. All right.
When the other thing that I wanted to talk about was Derek when he was doing the palm readings with the wig on as Miss Cleo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
fuck.
I see miso. She was like, yeah, that's her only friend.
Everybody was like on their A game in that scene.
Yeah.
What did he say to Michele? You'll be glorious. You'll go out the door gloriously too. Or some shit.
He said, you're going to go home next week, but you're going to be glorious doing it or something.
Yeah, something to that effect. Yeah.
These are the scenes that just bring me so much joy that I'm like, we need more of these in every episode. And
Agreed.
I don't believe that you're telling me the days it takes them to film an episode that more funny things like this aren't happening with all these personalities in the house.
Yeah.
And when are they going to finally realize that that's what makes us like these people more and more than just watching them talk
Like, do you want us to not like them?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, I, as we know, am not a huge fan of the character of Bananas. However, I like Johnny. We've had this conversation when he was on USA too. So when they were like, it was way back in the beginning of this episode when he was going on about how all he's done the entire game is just do yoga and meditate. And Nehemiah's over here starting shit and it's all coming back on him. Like,
Nehemiah too. He's like, I called someone a snake.
But like moments like that, like that's the Johnny that I like.
Right.
I like him when he is playing the underdog, but when he's not trying to be 7-time champ Johnny, poor me, everybody's out to get me. But when he's just legitimately playing from the bottom.
Right.
So that kind of leads me into what I wanted to talk about in this, because Tori says she's willing to hear Bananas out. And she would actually consider, but look, she's going to hear him out, but she ain't putting him over.
I was going to say, does anyone here or anyone out there listening, did any of you believe for even half a fucking second that Tori would actually hear Bananas out and consider putting Jordan in over him?
Not when he went after Kylan's wardrobe.
Yeah, and doesn't Kylan have a stylist? Because I remember that fun fact.
Well, and here's my thing that annoyed me about the thing that annoyed me about the wardrobe comment is Kylan was literally wearing jeans and a blank t-shirt, which is exactly what Bananas wears. So what are we really saying here, Bananas? Because you have the same fucking style. I don't understand.
You mean Kylan's missing a bucket hat that sits 3 inches off his head that makes his head look even bigger than it actually is?
Although I will give props to his pick last in gym tank that he wore to the deliberation. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, no, I just look, I appreciate the sentiment, Tori, but we're not dumb. We're not dumb.
No.
We know Jordan was never ever gonna go in.
And I feel like they made this like they made them do this. They didn't have to do a deliberation at all.
Oh no,
Let's
it
be
was
honest.
forced. It was forced.
So yeah, and Bananas clipping his toenails and doing everything else. That
Plucking his eyebrows.
Yeah, that was too much. Like as soon as he blew those toenails, I was like, "Ooh,
that's too much."
Yeah, and see, that's where it becomes Bananas again.
If it would have been anybody else on the other end of the table, like myself, that would not have been like that. That's not a funny joke. That is fucking gross.
My therapist would tell me that this is his inner child coming out.
Exactly.
And he doesn't know how to handle the situation.
Because nobody likes him. Nobody's picking him.
I'm pretty sure Bananas' inner child is an outer child.
Yeah, they do call him Peter Pan a lot.
Do you think he would
He's
have?
Tinkerbell, though.
Do you think he would have done that to CT?
No, 100%. He wouldn't have. And that's my thing is that this was such a childish move. And I know like he thinks it's so funny and he's like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. But it's like, no, bro, you do care. You're like Jordan said, your feelers are very much hurt. And we can all see it. And no matter how much you try to pretend that you're not affected or fazed by what's going on with you and Tori, it's clear. And these little like antics, these little shenanigans that you're getting into are just making it more clear that you are so upset about what's going on with you and Tori. So just fucking talk to her. Like, I get it, dude. Like, but at the same time, like this, like Tony said, this woe is me, poor me, everybody's out to get me. You've watched me be burned by people in the past. Bananas, you have burned just as many, if not more people than have burned you. Like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, and then, she confronts him back and he's like, I'm just playing the game. And it's like, what the fuck do you think she's doing? Planting roses? Like, I just, it's okay for Bananas, but it's not okay for anybody else. And that is the thing that drives me nuts about Bananas.
See, and that's what I was going to say about this is I think, look, like nothing's going to change this fact. Bananas knows just as much as everybody else that Jordan's not going in. So why go in there with venom? You catch more with honey than you do vinegar, right? Yeah. So go in there and just be like, hey, I know what it is. I know what decision you're going to make. It is what it is. And just take it on the chin. And that's going to throw Tori more for a loop than going in there and doing what you did.
Yeah.
Because that's what she expected.
Exactly. Like, that's what everybody expected.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I feel like this goes into him playing his character. Like, he's sitting there thinking like, oh, how can I make this moment good TV? Like people are going to talk about that.
I did find it funny when he went back in the house. He's like, hey, announcement, everybody. I'm going in. I found that fucking funny.
My thing is like you just lost one of your angels. Why not try to smooth some things over with the other strongest girl in the house, who, by the way, is the winningest person from this season, the winningest female from this season. She has won more dailies this season than any other female this season, including all your angels that you keep insisting are better than her and everybody else in the house. So, like, I just don't understand. There was such an opportunity here, and Tori was even open to it. I don't, for one second, believe that she would have put Jordan in over Bananas, but I do believe that she would have been willing to hear Bananas out and potentially work forward after this elimination, right? So it just seemed like just self-sabotage, like times 10, and it was unnecessary.
And too, if you pay attention, like, I do feel like maybe it is just for the game, I don't know, but him talking to everyone else is him saying like, it's about the game, blah, blah, blah. But then in his confessionals, he's getting super vulnerable. Like, he even brings up, he's like, this is why I have a hardened heart to all these things, and because I get screwed over by so many people in the challenge. But this makes me think, though, of all the times that he has specifically said, like, they need to study people that do reality TV for this long. Because I feel like there's no way in the outside world this man can have, like, a normal relationship. Like, his view, it has got to be so skewed. It's really sad.
Well, and the fact that he plays a character, like how do you switch that on and off?
Especially when you do it for so long and you do back-to-back seasons all the time. And now with them filming multiple seasons in a year, like it used to just be once a year, you'd go out, film for 2 to 3 months, and then on with your life until the next year. You know, but now it's like they film like 2, maybe 3 seasons a year now. And I know he's not on all of them, but just that idea of people having to go through this, like it's just crazy.
And then he was on House of Villains and he was on Traitors.
Yeah.
And I think Worst Cooks in America as well. Like,
he's been on quite a few. He did the NBC First Look thing for a while where he was still, Johnny Bananas. Like, so it just, it's crazy.
Well, and I think at a certain point, he's done this for so long. And when he realizes he's going in week after week because, of decisions that he made, regardless of your view on whether those were right or wrong, it starts to wear on your mental of like, if I'm just going to keep going in, why the fuck am I here? You
Right.
know, like at a certain point, it wears on you.
Which is why people do that, why they consistently target the same person, even if they don't, you know, eventually you're going to lose that fire, right? Or like the chances that you are there. Maybe not for somebody like Bananas, but I'm just saying, you know.
It almost seems like it's a shitty thing to do to rookies where they just throw them in again and again and again.
Right?
Kind of sucks when the shoe is on the other foot.
So I will say this about Johnny, though. If you really look at the last 10 to 15 seasons, well, no, last 10 seasons, he has been more so on the receiving end of getting fucked over by people that he trusted than the other way around.
But why?
Well,
because people know his history, so they don't trust him.
They
So,
do. And
I'm going to get you before you get me. And I can't blame people for that. You know?
look, and I know people don't like hearing this, but the Sarah thing was a revenge move. It wasn't because he did it first. Now, that doesn't negate what he did to Paula on the island and other seasons where he fucked over his friends.
Right.
But the karma's just come back later on Johnny. That's all it is.
Well, and look, and I don't even want to say I don't even want to fully say that it's karma, but you know, the same thing that Bananas said to excuse every single fucking move he ever made.
I've always said is all is fair in love, war, and challenges.
It's just playing the game. So like I said earlier, when Bananas wants to make a big move and take a shot at somebody, or maybe make a move that, you know, goes against something he maybe promised earlier in the season, it's just him playing the game. It's nothing personal. Stop taking it so personal. Stop being a baby about it. Wham, 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 wham. But when somebody does it to Bananas, it's literally, you have broken my heart. You have ruined our friendship. You're doing this on purpose. It's completely personal. There's no way this is gay. Like I'm just like, bro.
So,
well,
go ahead, Tony.
Go ahead.
Well,
No,
I'm going to
I
move
went
it
ahead last
forward. Well, I'm going to move it forward. So go ahead.
So I will very quickly say a true example of what Corrina's saying is if you look at what he did when he came out of deliberation of just like, hey, everyone, it's me. How much shit did he give Cara for doing the exact same thing when it was Laurel and Bananas?
Yeah.
And then he was just like, obviously, I'm going to send you in. That's how we play this game, yada, yada, yada. And gave all of the exact same reasons that Tori has for putting him in.
Yeah.
But then when it's on him, it's like an absolute travesty.
It's the worst. You're the worst person. It's the worst thing you ever could have done.
So,
etc.
Moving this forward, did anybody have it on their bingo card that Bananas would be the one that kind of pushed Cara and Tori to being in the same room and conversating and smiling and kind of laughing with each other?
That was interesting. And honestly, that brings me all the way back to the beginning of the episode when Michele is sitting around and she's talking about why she didn't put Josh in as a nomination. And she mentions, I can't remember who all's in the room with her, but she mentions how Cara is kind of an outlier and that Cara has told Michele that she has nobody in the game. And that Michele thinks that Cara could definitely like become part of their weird little unit. I forget exactly what she called it, but and that's interesting.
The Leisure
That would be
Alliance.
interesting.
That was the conversation with Kylan and Olivia.
Kylan and Olivia, that's who it was. Yeah.
That's it. The Leisure Alliance. It's kind of part Vacation Alliance because Tori and Jordan are in there,
Yeah,
and Josh, and then the Ladies of Leisure.
The Ladies of Leisure.
It's the LA.
Oh, boom.
I like it.
Boom.
See, look, even though I only have this much room, it's full projection.
Yeah, if you just like moved it up like this much, you would be wearing it like
right.
That starts telling something about the personality when you see guys wear hats in certain ways. I'm just going to be honest.
Like Corey's beanie, how he folds it up 10 times and it's like barely on his head.
Barely there, yeah.
It's a true Scully, which I get because one of my biggest pet peeves is taking a beanie and when I pull it down, like it goes all the way down to right here. I hate that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I did find it really funny that Cara was like, Johnny's not Peter Pan of the challenge. He's Tinkerbell. And I was like, oh shit.
If he doesn't get attention, he'll die.
Yeah.
This is the second fucking episode in a row that this has happened to me because last episode, Cara made a very similar comment about how, Johnny needs attention and blah, 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 blah. And then she says it again this episode. And both times I was instantly transported back to Rivals 2, to the trivia fucking daily, where TJ, one of the trivia questions was, TJ was like, who needs the most attention in the house? And everybody was like, Johnny Bananas needs the most attention in the house. If you have a bobblehead of yourself, you definitely need the most attention in the house. And then Cara did a little skit and it just like she did the same thing again. And it was just so funny. I'm like, so nothing has changed. He still just needs all the attention. Got it. But yeah, no, I thought the Peter Pan Tinkerbell comment was pretty funny.
Can I just say Tori's shirt from Deliberation? Wow.
Oh
my God.
Wow. See,
wait, what was it?
It was like this cute little corset, like chocolate brown top. And you know what it reminded me of? My bodysuit that I wore in Detroit.
It reminded me of your bodysuit too, except that you were not falling out of yours.
I don't have anything to fall out of.
I'm not complaining.
Shirt.
I am not complaining.
It's the perfect explanation as to why it looks different on people for different reasons.
Katie's going as Tori next year for Halloween.
Right? Yeah. We just need to get you big boobs.
I'll have to get one of those like things that drag queens get. It's like a whole piece.
Yeah. There you go.
Because, I just have nipples, so.
Well, it's good that you have those. You need them.
You don't, really?
I was like, but do I? Let's not. We're going to spiral.
That's almost as bad as like not having a belly button.
That happens too.
Oh, I just thought of something. I'll try to remember it for later. It doesn't need to be on here.
But thank you, Tori. I'm sorry,
Yes.
but thank you, Tori. I'm sure there was a lot of tape involved in that. But
Anyway.
Olivia brought something up, and I was wondering, like, maybe it's true. Like, do you think because of Theo being on vacation, he's a little bit more emotional about not necessarily going in, but like having to face the fact of not being around Olivia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it affects a lot of stuff about his time here.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want to say that it's affecting his performance and his focus in the game. But it's also kind of hard to say that because the last time that we saw him was the same thing and there was no girl or Olivia or anything on Worlds. So it's just kind of hard to know whether it's just kind of what happens when he had to take so much time off because of the injury. He had to take off so much time from athletics and all that stuff. Or if it's because he's just, distracted by Olivia and maybe Worlds, he was just going through. So, it's just so hard to really know. But I definitely think that she has been a distraction, definitely as far as socially playing the game. And stuff like that, because he's been tied to her since fucking day one. So, because
I think he'd be playing with Cara a lot more if it wasn't for Olivia.
Right. Yeah. So,
I think he's playing better on 40 than he did on Worlds.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a matter of when we look at people who have been away for a while or rookies, when they come back, when they're playing every subsequent season, they improve.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we're seeing with Theo. It's just a weird disconnect because we've already seen him at his peak and now he's sort of building back up to that again.
Yeah.
Exactly. So after this scene, we go into the elimination. It's called cramping out. It should be called high-low human Kerplunk because basically
that's exactly what I said. It's backwards Kerplunk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
with
this
a
is
human instead of a marble.
This is the second time they've played Kerplunk on this season.
It is.
Yeah, but Kerplunk though, you start with all the sticks in and you take them out.
Right.
So it's backwards.
Reverse Kerplunk.
Yes.
It sounds like something you shouldn't look up on Urban Dictionary.
Yeah. What did you guys think about this elimination? Because I'm getting a lot of, I'm not getting mixed reviews, but I'm having mixed review to what I'm getting from other people. So I'm curious how you guys felt.
Mine's 50-50. I didn't like the high-low part. I didn't like the actual Kerplunk part.
That's exactly how
Is that
I
where
feel
we're all
too.
saying? Okay, that's how I feel too. I just feel like the high-low thing. First of all, I want to say that I hated it on the Final Reckoning final.
Yeah.
Final Reckoning finale. Whatever.
Yeah.
I hated it when they did it there. I just think it's, number one, I just think it's fucking stupid. It's dumb. And number two, I don't like if it was, I don't know, if it was incorporated in the middle of a daily or something, that's one thing. But to put it in like a final or an elimination, I don't like saying, hey, you might be eliminated from this game, but you have no actual control over it. It's all just up to chance. You don't actually control the outcome. And I don't like that.
I don't like that they always have to use giant cards to do it
Yes.
either. Like, it just seems stupid.
They're not going to use little ones.
Well, they shouldn't use it at all. At least get big.
Well, yeah, but I'm just...
It would have been better if they would have each had like a dice and they both roll it at the same time, and whoever gets the higher number fucking goes. Because at least at that point, there's... I don't know.
Coin flip.
It's interactive. They were literally just standing there, like catching their breath.
Yeah, the better way of doing it, and I agree 100%, Alexis, is that they should have had to answer like a trivia question.
Yes.
That was exactly what I was thinking too.
Or throw a ball somewhere.
Well, I'm glad we're all hive-minded.
Literally.
Some sort of trivia question, or, if they wanted to include like a rest period. Yeah, I mean, even trivia could be a rest period because you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Well,
So, I mean, I didn't like the high-low thing.
You could honestly even incorporate the portion, like parts of the elimination that Devin and Callum did, where it was like count all this shit, and first one to count correctly gets it. Like something that puts it more in your control.
Do a math equation, and then whoever gets it done first.
Well, or even I was talking with somebody online. I don't remember exactly what season it's from, but do you guys remember the little circular discs that they had to like stack up to the line? They had to there was like a line, and they had to like stack them up. That one was a little different because they had to stack them up, and then like if TJ blew the air horn, you had to hop inside the ice bath and sit in the ice bath for like 2 minutes, and then you had to get back out and try to do it.
Yeah.
So you'd have to tweak it a little bit, but you could even do that. The first one to get, these 10 whatever, and then each round you add a couple more. And whoever gets it built up to the line first is the one that gets the 2. You know what I mean? Like there were so many more interactive things that they could have done to where the Theo and Bananas actually had control. This was a game of chance, and I don't like games of chance when it comes to you're going to stay or you're going to go home. I don't mind it in the middle of a daily if it's like part of a checkpoint, but I don't like it being like the decision maker for whether you get to stay or you get to go.
They could have even done it simple as like, are you both start off with 4 poles to put into the Kerplunk machine, and then the first one that gets out the fastest after the first run gets 2, the other one gets 1 pole. And then whoever gets out fastest, the next one gets 2, the other one gets 1.
It would have literally just been a race. Like the cards were unnecessary. It
really
dumb.
was.
Yeah.
So Bananas ends up winning this because he's good at really dumb shit, as always.
Well, and Theo's just so fucking
He did
long.
amazing, though.
He did so good.
Yeah.
I would also love to check in with Bananas or Theo to find out how badly bruised they are from having to do this challenge.
100%.
That's what I was thinking. Every single move, you're hitting your arms, hitting your.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was not comfortable.
So, Theo goes home. Bananas names his new targets, which of course can't be Tori.
I love how much detail
so
TJ
funny.
went into of why it can't be Tori.
He should have played it up like, what? Again?
Yeah.
But so he doesn't really change it up too much. There's not too many options left. It's either the Angels or Michele, Olivia, Cara, and that's who gets the targets.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, guys. Michele and Josh fucking fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Corey Wharton is everyone.
I totally
yes.
forgot about that.
So did I.
Oh.
I think Michele was a little like, was she right? Yes, but she was a little bit in her feelings right there.
Absolutely.
She's just annoyed.
Yeah. I don't even remember exactly what started it.
Oh, he was just cheering for both of them.
Oh, that's
the
right. That's right. That's
entire
right.
time.
That's
and
right.
like the worst part was I don't know if it was editing or if it was actually how it was going down, but on the second watch, because I knew that it happened, I was listening for it, and holy fuck, every move.
Yeah.
It was way to go, Nanas. Good job, Theo. And it's like, you need to adopt Tyson's approach, which was say fucking
Just
nothing.
shut the fuck
Yeah.
up.
And then just
shut your
don't
mouth.
cheer for
Shut-
anyone.
Shut your mouth.
And I get it. He's friends with everyone, and that's fine. That's not that's not against
You didn't
him.
have to root
But
for
you
them.
don't have to, like, if you have people on both sides and one's coming back and one's leaving the game,
Yeah.
say nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think that, like you said, like Michele definitely overreacted in this
Oh, yeah.
moment, and she was just under so much pressure, and I get it.
Oh,
But
I've
she
been
was
there.
right. Like, you have to pick a side. And I hate this idea that Josh has that he's somehow special and doesn't have to choose. Like that whole argument where he was like, why do I always got to be the one to pick a side?
Exactly.
Everybody,
You're on
you're not
every
You've got all the sides.
You're
Yeah.
not the only one. Everybody has to pick a side, but everybody else has already chosen. You're the only one standing in the fucking middle still. That's why you're the one being like looked at under a fucking microscope. Okay? Just, yeah. Okay.
I can't have my hat on. Yay!
That is the
Yay.
most uncomfortable thing I have ever attempted to do.
I can't do it because my glasses.
It gets better with time.
Oh
All right.
my God. That is
So-
so weird. That hurts my arms. Like my elbows do not want to do that.
The other thing I wanted to bring up
Sorry.
was the fact that at the end, when we're shown who's the karma points being handed out,
Yeah.
and the fact that Laurel gives Bananas 1 karma point, and obviously he
Why
didn't
did
know.
she give him a 1?
But not only that, she also says, "Is he gonna see this part?" And then she
Yeah.
like talks a little shit. I'm like,
And he actually put out a post. He's like, that's on me. Like, I really trusted her and defended her, and I got shown what happened. And I was like, fuck.
Oh, I can't wait to hear his episode of his podcast because I
Oh,
feel
I'm
like he's
so
just
excited.
been like riding so hard for Laurel. Like anybody who comes on and says
That's what
something
somebody
negative
said.
about her, he's like, well, you should have heard. Even Derek Kaczynski said something about her, and he was like fighting back, like, well, you should really see it from this side. And then every single person's been like, nah, man.
because it's another person who's fucked him over.
Yeah. And look, here's the thing is like, this is just proof, even though we didn't see it in the edit, that Laurel has Jordan above Bananas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure what she gave him like a 3 or a 4,
Minimum.
you know? Oh,
I
it
don't
did
know.
it not show it? I thought it
know.
did.
I don't
didn't
even
think-
remember.
The contrast was interesting too, where it was like Nehemiah saying Corey's a man of his word and he's never gone back on it, and then Laura's like, Corey's a floater. 1.
Yeah,
I was
what?
like, what?
What are you
She's
talking
just
about?
bitter.
I wonder if her average score was lower than anyone else's for rating all the people.
Everyone gets
yeah.
a 1.
Yeah, except for like
I could
3
see that.
people. Horacio got a 5.
He's not even there, but he got a 5.
No.
I'm sorry, that was stupid. All my
Ah,
ideas
look,
are stupid.
Nah, it wasn't
Okay,
stupid.
Theo gave
Okay.
Olivia a 10, so
Yeah, Nerese got a 1 for
She
sure.
kinda- oh, she absolutely gave Nuri. I wonder if they rate the ones who have already been eliminated. Probably
Probably
not.
not.
Yeah.
Probably not. But if they
they
did,
just get
she
a
would.
report card in the mail.
Yeah, right. Laurel gave you a -6.
Oh shit. All right, so I want to ask you guys, obviously, what's your overall grade on this episode? For me, I thought it was good, but it wasn't. I thought last week's was better. I'll give this one a B.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna go with just a flat B, not a plus, not a minus, just a straight.
Yeah.
You know,
Me too.
Copy
80,
paste.
85, 85%.
Retweet.
I'm going to give it a B+ because Laurel's gone.
That's
There
nice.
you go.
I'm not mad about it.
That's
All right.
nice.
What's your guys' MVP?
MVPs. First of all, my girl,
Oh my
my girl,
You could have just said gorgeous girl.
my girl, Tori Train Choo Choo.
My boo.
First of all, I also want to say it's so funny because I've been wandering around the house all day wearing one of Rick's like sweaters from his work. And so obviously I had to change before I got on the podcast. So I hurried up and changed and put on my Tori Train shirt. And then after I changed, I realized that I also am wearing my CT train.
Double
Double
trains.
dipping.
I totally did not mean to do that. But doubling up on the choo-choos tonight. Anyway, so yeah, so for my female MVP,
That was a good way to word it.
Otherwise, it would just be a chew.
male MVP, definitely Kyland. I want to give a shout out to definitely a shout out to Nehemiah. I would have really liked to see him run this final. I feel like this is like a new Nehemiah that we never kind of saw in the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
I feel like earlier seasons, he was kind of like goofball. Like he was a good competitor, but he was very goofballish. And I just feel like he's very much more like centered and focused, and he's here to play the game and compete. And I just really would have loved to see him go to the final. So I'm sad about that. But yeah, Tori, I can't logically, I can't give anybody else the MVP than Kylan and Tori, because they fucking killed that mini final.
Agreed.
So
Yeah.
I'm also going with Kylan and Tori. They also both got a huge compliment from TJ after the end. He was like, this is how you, like, thanks for showing everybody how to run a final.
Cara did not like that comment. Did you see the look on her face?
Yeah.
I want to know if they pulled it from that exact moment or if they scoured the edit
Good
for like,
point. Good
we
point.
need this.
Yeah.
I feel like you can hear TJ still talking, like still saying part of what he's saying in the back, but I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining that, but yeah, I just found it funny. If they did scour and find that, great editing.
It was a great reaction shot. When it happened, I was like, I don't even care if it was supposed to be there or not.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Tony, who do you got for MVPs?
Kylan and Tori for MVPs. Honorable mention. This is going to be rare for me, but I'm giving the honorable mention to Johnny.
Oh,
But also honorable mention to everyone who didn't quit.
I like that.
What about you? What about you, Katie?
Well, you see, I'm also copying everybody because, dude, they fucking crushed it.
Yeah.
Like, and this is where I know we all have our debates about Mount Rushmores, but I'm sorry. This is why Tori needs to go up there. She beat Cara, she beat Laurel, she beat Jenny.
She beat Rachel.
Like,
She
by a
beat
lot.
She
everybody.
beat Rachel. I mean, she beat everybody. But this is where I'm like, I know we like to call her a baby goat, but I'm like, I don't know. I think she's a goat. And I want to give my honorable mention to Jenny because she was still second place even after the struggle bus that she was on.
Yeah.
That's true.
And she still got done with that memory puzzle after people were calling her out for not having a good memory.
That's true. Actually, no, I'm going to let you do yours, and then I might have one more shout out depending on what you say.
So,
Or did you already do your MVPs?
No.
Oh, I didn't
but
think so. Okay.
It's going to sound like I did because it's the exact same as you guys. It's Tori, Kylan, MVPs, honorable mention to Johnny for doing that Kerplunk thing, proving he still got it after all these seasons and to show why he's a threat. And then, yeah, big shout out to Nehemiah. Sad to see him go. Wish we would have got more time with him on the show.
Yeah.
And then, real quick line of the night for me, as much as I want to give it to Tori for the unless he can travel back in time, I'm going to give it to Corey for finishing like 5th on the puzzle and shouting out Puzzle King.
That's like Devin, day one champ.
Yeah.
Last shout out that I just wanted to throw out there. I didn't want to say it ahead of time in case anybody else, as I always do that to Tony. So I didn't say it earlier. But last shout out, I just wanted to give a shout out to Aviv. I know that like she wasn't like in the top, but she pushed through, you know, and I know we were like making jokes about the name and I still can't fucking say it.
I just hate the name. That's
it is a real thing, and it's difficult. They've got doctors and medicine and everything. No, but it is real, and it's very uncomfortable. So I just wanted to give her a major shout out for pushing through that because, you know, obviously we had somebody kind of give up. You know, there was a lot of people that struggled that shouldn't have struggled. And for somebody who had like a legitimate injury that was affecting their ability to run, to push through that, just major props for Aviv.
Absolutely.
Major props.
100%.
So, but I mean, that's really all I got.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch the next time on, guys.
Neither did I.
Whoops.
Stuff happened.
Yeah.
Stuff's going to happen.
Honestly,
next
like,
episode.
if you look at the people that have like come back after time away, this is a fucking great return to form for Aviv.
Comeback
She's
player of the
killing
year.
Yeah.
100%. I think we can stick a fork in that one and call it done.
I like it.
Guys,
Picasso.
It was fun.
it's been real as always.
Always.
Real fun.
Yeah,
It's been real.
Sorry to everybody listening. Sorry we didn't have Ryan. I know you guys probably saw his and our Instagram story.
Whoopsies.
It was completely planned. But he is a sweepy little friend, and he went sweeps.
And he just got home from vacation, so
Yeah, his time zones are probably all out of whack.
literally
Jet lag. No, I don't blame him.
We love you. We love you so much.
We will have him on to recap probably here in another week or two. But yeah, all love to Ryan. Sorry he wasn't here for you guys, but he was sweepy. So he's just sweepy girl.
Well, with that being said, he'll be back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that being said, if you guys enjoy, maybe will we? Who knows?
I don't know.
If you guys have enjoyed what you've listened to for the last 2 hours or so,
I don't know why you would, but
We question your sanity.
yes.
but if you did, remember to hit subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating. If you're going to give us a 1-star rating, please look us up on Yelp and do it there. But for myself, Ricky Hayes, my beautiful wife, Corrina Hayes, we've got Alexis, Tex Rawson, Katie, Bad Blood Pahura, and Tony, Stats, and Infolance 2 for 1. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for episode 13. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Later, Gators.
Ooh.
Later, Gators.
I like that.